You're listening to Match.biz's Unfair Advantage. We live a few years of our lives like most people won't, so we can spend the rest of our lives like most people can. And now your host, Mr. Kit Elliott. Hustle mode is now on.
Guys, hi. Welcome to the Unfair Advantage with Kit Elliott. I'm your host. I want to take the time in this podcast, this week's episode. We are going to talk about 4 new ways to grow your list. Okay, we're going to go over each method, how it works, why it works. I want to challenge you to implement these into your business and not just take my word for it, implement them, and then give me your feedback to see how they worked for you. So let's get it started. Now, we're going to talk about the different methods that the old way where you have an opt-in box where Aweber gave you a form to copy and paste on your widget in your right sidebar, and then it says name and people fill in their name, put email to give away a lead magnet or subscribe to your list. Now, part of that doesn't work as well anymore. What we want to do is get a micro commitment from them. Okay, so when you get a micro commitment where you ask them a question and they say yes, they click on a button, that is a micro commitment. They've committed a little bit. A visitor is slightly more likely to sign up with their email address in order to get your lead magnet. And inside, if you've been following us, we've been talking about leverage this season. We've been talking about leverage affiliate marketing, and we've been talking about the follow-up, the lead magnets, the types of lead magnets that work. And so you should join us in the last episode of the highest converting lead magnets. Now, what I want you to do is expand your thinking in terms of getting a micro commitment. Okay, method number one is a kind of a multi-step where it would say put your name and email address and get this free report, right? Now what I want you to do is get the micro commitment first. Instead of including the name and email, put a button on your website that will turn into the opt-in box. It's almost like the 2-step opt-in process already. When they click on the button, I'm testing out within red button and green button and blue buttons and orange buttons and seeing which one converts the best. Right now, I actually think red is converting slightly higher than green. Now, the main difference on this method is when you ask them a question like, yes, send me this lead magnet, what you want to do is when they click on your red button, it opens up or changes to a opt-in box with maybe an email address or a name. I'm personally started including name again because I like to use the name personalization within the emails. Okay, so I'm adding the names and then sending them to a thank you page. Now, let's move towards this thank you page. The thank you page is a 3-step thank you page saying, thanks, I just sent it to your email address. Step 1, check your email address, confirm your email address, and add me to your whitelist, your address box, right? And so I personally like to expand it a little further and say reply with any questions and set up a little bit more contact and more engagement. Method number 1 is going to be that 2-step opt-in process. Okay, so you take your lead magnet and instead of giving the form, you maybe it opens up into a light box. And I've used leadpagespro.com to do the lead boxes. There is a kind of a cheaper version of this called s1ep6, which is a WordPress plugin. And s1ep6 allows you to, it's free for 100,000 views. If you're just starting out, you may want to use a WordPress plugin called s1ep6. That way it's very low cost. But keep in mind, as your visitors, as your site starts to grow, then maybe it might be in your best interest to pay the $37 and not be worrying about whether you're getting views and shows or not. Because SumoMe charges per showing, per view, right? Now, method number 2 is really an interesting one. Method number 2, and I've seen this, I've seen the Fortune 500 companies, the big companies are actually using this method. And you want to ask a question. You've probably seen this. It's like a little pop-up box that goes on your blog, and it asks them a question. Like, do you want to increase your traffic in the next 30 days, yes or no? Okay, this is almost like the yes or no method. You create a yes or no question that is matching your niche. Do you want to lose weight in the next two weeks? Do you want to slim down to the next size? See, you're asking a question, yes or no question, okay? And then, so your yes button would be yes, and then that would be green, and then your red button would be no. And I've seen it was so funny. I've seen where people actually, it's almost like shaming people. The button itself says, no, I want to be fat forever. And you're seeing a little shaming on the no. So people are like, no, I'm going to say yes. And then that button itself is turning into an opt-in box, right? So when you say yes, it then turns into an opt-in box. We are taking advantage of this micro commitment that people are already making immediately. Okay, so the method number 2 is kind of a yes or no question. We'll call it a yes or no multiple choice. Okay, and it's very simple. And so once again, you can use a plugin like SumoMe or use the leadpagespro.com that charges $37, $47 to use it. I actually had signed up with Lead Pages Pro, and they have a pro version where you pay for like 2 years in advance for like $1,000. So that's another way where you don't have to pay the monthlies, and you get to try it out for 2 years. So that's one way you can save a lot of money. On kind of a yes or no question is you're trying to pose the question that will get the obvious answer, right? So you're posing the question to get the obvious answer, yes, and then that immediately turns into the opt-in boxes. And so when you pose an obvious yes question, people say yes, that is also a kind of a micro commitment, because you just posed an obvious yes question, and then boom, and then you formulate the question like, it is the benefit, right? So a lot of people are saying, do you want the feature? Do you want unlimited emails? And so what you do is you say, oh, well, do you want to increase your traffic by using this secret method that I've found out? See? So now you went from feature to benefit, right? So you do an obvious yes question around the benefit that your visitor is going to get, okay? And then on the text, you just really do make it very meaningful. And you could try doing the no shaming. And so, no, I'll forever be stuck at newbie level. Try that and let me know if that works. I do like the yes or no question. You're going to see that popping up. I'm going to be testing that out with different colors on a lot of different websites that I have. Method number 3, I'm currently testing out too. It's where you get people to segment themselves based on their answers. And a lot of the times you always have problems because a new software or a new plugin or a WordPress plugin or hosting or all these specials would come up, and I'd want to tell my entire list, and a lot of them, my unsubscribe rate would go up because I had a lot of newbies and beginners saying, no, that's not for me. I better unsubscribe from this list. And so now you can do kind of a segmenting questionnaire where you want to ask a question like a survey question where it's, do you have experience in programming? Do you like WordPress? Or how long have you been online marketing? Or are you a YouTube expert? Or what's your and so you get people to say, I'm a beginner or I'm an advanced user. And then that way you go, great, this person's advanced. Let me send them those WordPress plugins or software or things that require additional techie skills. See, now you have not techie and non-techie, and you can segment your list and put them into different buckets and go, great, this offer goes out to this techie bucket and exclude the beginners. Okay, so that's kind of a way that I use the self-segmenting is when you are using a CRM, when you're sending out an email broadcast, you can actually exclude people from receiving that email. And so this is the perfect way to exclude techie people or non-techie people, right? So when you send it out, you just say, send it to everybody, exclude the non-techie group, right? And those people won't see that particular email. And so that way, the way you do that is on your website, your blogs, your pages. You'll see all kinds of surveys, all kinds of questions, all kinds of opt-in boxes that allow people to segment into where they're at. Here, you would start looking for factors that differentiate your different groups in your audience most clearly. And so a lot of the times for me, it is techie and non-techie, right? It is newbies versus experienced marketers. Because there's almost like two different types of product launches. One that everybody can do and the one that only advanced people can do. And so that's a nice little segmentation that you can do. And then you can have them self-segment and you can market exclusively, effectively to each group. But no one gets mad. I love that. Just keep in mind, you're not limited to just two choices. On one of my surveys, I actually have a survey where it actually says on a scale of 1 to 10, rate all these 10 different marketing skills, right? How effective are you on YouTube? How effective are you on Facebook? Are you a beginner or an expert on Twitter or email marketing or banner marketing? I have 10 different questions, so you're not limited. Actually, if you go to Match.biz, you could take that survey and actually see how you can segment your audience just on that survey. That's a perfect example of segmentation. And method 4 is the mini survey, like we were just talking about. When you're doing a mini survey, you can use a plugin. I think I use a WordPress plugin. There's probably like 30 out there right now. This one is the best one that I found. Let me look that up real fast. It's called FSQM Pro. So that is a WordPress survey plugin, the best of the best, FSQM Pro. What I love about it is you can ask 5 to 7 questions and just copy and paste the short code on your pages or your blog post. Then you can email your list to take that survey, or any new visitors to your blog will actually see that. And then that way, that's a good idea of number 1, you can send them to different pages. 2, it has logic built in. So if they answer this, then send them to this. If they answer this, then send them to that. If they answer that, then send them to this. The logic's built in. It's one of the only ones that has the logic built in, but also then it allows you to segment it. And then that way there's really no limitation to how many questions that you can create and how you link them together. Okay, so technically, you could take the segmentation I did to the extreme and create an elaborate sequence of choices that all lead to different offers or different lists. There is a slight learning curve on how to do that, but once you get it down, boom, it probably takes a week learning curve, and then the sky is the limit on that. Okay. So that is actually part of that makes it very simple. That people love questionnaires, they love giving that feedback, they love answering questions, and then you could use that particular plugin. What I want you to do is try to implement maybe a micro commitment on your website anywhere. It could be the huge drop down that comes up and says, and ask them the 2 questions and give them a obvious yes answer or a yes or no question. It could be the in your lead magnet, you want to give them a button, yes, send me that lead magnet, and then that turns into a, enter your name and email. So that's the 2-step process that already gets that micro commitment. Then let them self-segment by asking them, how are they, beginner or advanced? You could do male or female, and then so you could segment it based on the questions that you pose. That way you're not wasting anyone's time and people aren't unsubscribing when you're segmenting based on their interests, right? And then you could just do that survey, the mini survey, and then that helps you put them into exactly where you want them to go, okay? Because they give you all of their answers and boom, that lead goes into this bucket. You're really working smarter in terms of having the exact people and then presenting them with the exact offers that they would buy. That's it for today's episode. If you haven't got any feedback, if you need any help, let me know. I'm gonna publish this on Match.biz. I'm gonna put all of the links to the plugin, the survey plugin that you can use, the Lead Pages Pro that you can immediately sign up for. I think it comes with a 14-day free trial, and then I definitely recommend that. And then if you have any feedback, comments, leave me a comment below. If you need to keep it private, inbox me on Facebook and we'll keep that private. So thanks a bunch, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Unfair Advantage.
You're listening to Match.biz's Unfair Advantage. The best revenge is massive success. Let's get it started.